Welcome to a new video on my home automation series, and today I'm going to review another Blitzwolf product. This is the BW SS4, and this product was provided free of charge by Banggood for this review video. And I picked this one mostly because of the look. And if you've seen many of my videos, you probably recognize that this is how the original Sonoff Basic looked like. So that's how the whole Sonoff story started. And it looks like that Blitzwolf managed to get the molding from the same package, and they decided to create their own inline switch to look exactly like the Sonoff Basic. Even though it has the same look and feel as the Sonoff Basic, it's not really competing with it because, as you probably know, the Blitzwolf products are in a separate ecosystem. So whereas Sonoff use the EV-Link app, the Blitzwolf has its own Blitzwolf app, or you can use the Tuya Smart or the Smart Life app. So I'm going to use the Tuya Smart today, just like with any other Blitzwolf products. Before we carry on discussing the features of this device, I wanted to have a quick look at the listing on Banggood, because actually there are two different versions of this unit, and as far as I remember, I wanted to review the one which has two outputs, because as you can see, the standard one is a 1 gang, so it has one output. So on the output side there is one live and neutral, but there is a 2 gang version, so there is an L1 output and the L2 output. And I haven't gotten that part in the video, but after a few minutes you will see me taking the lid off and looking at the PCB, and there is an unpopulated part on the PCB, and that's actually the space for the second relay. So they are using the same PCB for that. And as you can see, the product is under a sale at the moment. So the single gang unit is $4.99 and the double gang unit is $5.99. which I think it's a pretty good price. I mean, of course it's 41% off, but I'm guessing the real price is not going to be 10 or 9 US dollars either. Oh, but there is a $2.5 shipping on this one. And I'm not even going to go through the specs because we have already talked about it, and connecting this is again really simple. I mean, just live and neutral on the input, live and neutral on the output, and well, 2 lives on the 2 gang version. But that's pretty much it. So I think let's not waste more time on the listing, because I'm going to talk about these details on the rest of the video anyway. And let's carry on with the features. And I think I can pretty much conclude the unboxing of this video, because you can pretty much see everything which is in the box. So you get the actual device. It also has these 2 plastic parts which cover up the screws, and they also act as a strain relief for the cables. It's exactly the same physical design as the Sonoff. The Sonoff comes with these 2 lids screwed on. Here we are getting the 4 small screws in a separate bag. And just like with any other Blitzwolf products, we are getting this feedback leaflet. Basically just tells you how you can leave feedback to the company via different communication channels. And we are also getting a very small user's manual which comes in 3 languages, English, French and German, and it will take you through the basic setup, installation, and how to get started. But to be honest, this is an inline switch. It switches your input voltage, input mains voltage, to your output mains voltage, and it doesn't really do anything else. Just like the Sonoff Basic, it's very easy to understand and very easy to get started. Just a few more comments on the physical design. So as I said, it appears to be the exact same molding. So the same things that I've mentioned about the Sonoff Basic applies to this BW SS4 as well. Firstly, that there is very small amount of room between the screws and these teeth, which are the strain relief. So when you are blanking your wires, you have to make sure that you really, you get it in there tight. So the installation of the wire is actually can be held by these clamps. So the cable is held securely within the device, so it's not prone to tearing, which can lead to short circuit and of course exposing the live wires. So that's always a security concern with these products. So just make sure that you pay attention to that. Other than that, the controls are the same. We have a button which allows the local control of the output, and also we can use it, for example, if we want to reset the device or set it to pairing mode. And we have a hole under it. There is an LED, so that's going to give us some status. And in case you are interested, I popped the lid open so we can inspect the internals, and I think it's, you know, quite similar layout to the Sonoff Basic. Of course, it has the Tuya chip that we see in many of the you know, Blitzwolf Smart products, which means that the connection on these Wi-Fi chip is well documented. So if you plan to change the firmware, I know that there is the option to use the Tuya convert process, but if you want to go physical, I think you can probably solder to those headers and then, you know, reflash the ESP chip inside. Other than that, I can see an unpopulated part here. Maybe there was an option for a different relay. Oh, by the way, I haven't mentioned, this has a 10 amp relay. So just make sure that when it gets connected, this has a smaller rating than most probably your receptacle that it gets plugged into. So it's a really small 10 amp relay. The only other thing I wanted to mention, you can see that's the input side and that's the output side. So you can see the live trace is going through and then, you know, going through the relay and to the output. And quite a few of you have watched my video how you convert a Sonoff Basic to a garage door opener. And I think the same conversion can be done on this one quite easily, because you can clearly see the two mains traces. So you would be able to create a cut in here so that you can separate the live input from the live output. So if you want to make the same conversion, I think it would be fairly easy to do on this one. But I think this video is going to be long enough, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. I managed to install the SS4 in my Tuya test board. And again, just as I mentioned previously, I was trying to make sure that I have the sleeving or the insulation on the cable not cut short, so this cover can properly crimp on that cable. So it works as a strain relief, and the cable is not going to be prone to being torn out from the connection. So I think it's safe now, and definitely this is what you should do when you are using this type of device. And also remember that it also only has live and neutral connection. There is no earth. So the device that you are controlling needs earth, then you need to wire that separately. Just make sure that the earth is connected if that's required. And once you go into the app, you can see that I've already installed the BW SS4 inline switch. It was really simple. I just clicked on the plus button and I actually selected this Wi-Fi switch, which is here. Then I also tried selecting the Lightning Wi-Fi, but the end result is always the same. And by the way, when you unpack it and when you power it up in the mains, it automatically goes into pairing mode. So you just follow the on-screen instructions and you are going to be good. And as you can see, the switch is here. And if I click on it, I can see a watch face along with a notification that the Wi-Fi signal is weak on this device. But if I click on it, it works. The only thing I'm missing a button here on the home screen or on the main screen, like I have it for example, this desk lamp, so I don't have to go into the screen just to change it. And that's why I was trying to play around with installing it as a switch or installing it as a light. But again, it doesn't seem to be making a difference. So you have to wait until this screen loads and you can operate the switch from here. Besides this, we are not going to find a lot of surprising features for this device, but I haven't expected anything. I mean, after all, this is just a switch. It doesn't have any extra functionality. So if you click on the middle of the screen, you can operate it. You can click on the power button on the lower left as well. And if you just go through the settings, there is a timer button, so you can just add timers. So this would be specific hour and day of the week when you want the device to either turn on and off. And here in the repeat, you can specify on which days, and you can also leave a note. I think this is new. You can set if you want to receive an additional notification on your app that this just happened. And of course, you specify whether at that specific time you want the device to turn on or turn off. And you can create multiple of these. The next one is a countdown, which is a simple manual turn off function. So you specify that after 5 minutes, you automatically want the device to turn off. And as you can see, it will turn off. On the bottom right, we see a new button, which is called the settings. And it says relay status, which doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But when you click on it, you are getting 3 different options: on, off, or remember status. I think what it means that this is the power on status of the relay. So if it loses power, because let's say there is a power outage, Once the power comes back on, you can specify what the relay should be, so whether it should stay off or come on, or it would just come on to the same state or go to the same state where it was previously. And that's pretty much it, what you get in terms of the screen controls. If we click on the pencil icon on the upper right, we go into the settings. Here you can make some changes. You can change the icon and the name and the location. Location as in which room the device is in. You also get some device information. It's not really important. As you can see, it works with Alexa and Google Assistant. And the other features are, fairly simple and standard. You can share the device across users. You can create a group, and then the devices that are in the same group will get controlled at the same time. So if you have multiple of these switches, you put them into the same group, then those devices would work like if they would be in a two-way control or in a three-way control. So if one comes on, all of them comes on. Previously, I was doing this functionality using scenes, but now it is built into the group functionality. And the rest is just like, update the firmware or check the network connection. And the only other thing which is left to look at is the automation. And I'm going to just click on the actual automation because I want to see what options this device offers. So first of all, I want to check what are the trigger options for this device. So I click on when the device status changes, and I click on SS4. I can create an automation which triggers whenever this switch gets switched on or switched off. There is also a countdown. I've never really managed to use the countdown in the trigger side of it. And for the action side, let me just select another switch, because I believe you can't use the same switch in the action and the trigger as well. So in the run device and in the SS1, I'm getting the same options. So basically you can trigger when this device gets turned on or turned off, and you can also control this device from an automation so it turns on or turns off. Fairly simple stuff. I mean, this is pretty much the functionality that we see with any smart switches or inline switches. And this is pretty much what this device offers in the Tuya Smart app. Oh, as you can see, the 5 minutes has expired, so the device switched automatically off. The only other thing which we have also noticed with the Sonoff Basic, that there is a button that you can use for other features, for example, to reset the device or just to set it to pairing mode. But if you just normally press it once, you can operate the output from here locally. And of course, if I go into the device details, if I operate it from here, then after a couple of seconds, we see the status changing in the app as well. This was my review of the Blitzwolf SS4 inline switch. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.